Hi guys, welcome to Coconuts for Planning. Today I'm going to be talking about how to save money on your next cruise. So cruising is more popular than ever and we see those prices rising every year. So I wanted to make a video to show you practical ways to really save money on your next cruise. All right, so the first step is when to book your cruise. The earlier that you book that cruise, the cheaper it's going to be. You used to be able to get some really great last minute travel deals on cruises, but more and more cruises are actually rewarding the people who book first. So if you do book your cruise way in advance, you will get that cheaper price. The second thing to look at is when you book your cruise. If you're cruising off season, you're definitely going to save money. So if you're cruising at a time of year that's less popular in the Caribbean, like in the fall, because of hurricane season, you're definitely going to get cheaper prices. In Alaska, it's going to be more in the spring or in the fall. And then in Europe, you're going to have definitely more expensive cruises in the summer months during the school breaks. So if you want to look at the cheaper cruises, you could look at the off seasons. So the third tip I have when you're shopping for cruises is to look at certain websites that will give you the best prices. So for example, I actually use a search engine when I'm looking for cruises called cruiseplum.com. They have a really great search engine because you can search all the cruises at once, and you do have some really specific filters to really filter down the type of cruise that you're looking for. So you can filter by dates, by cruise length, by cruise company. So you can just search all the Royal Caribbean cruises. You can also filter down by cabin types. What I like about them is really that you can search by cabin price per day, which really narrows down the cheapest cruise available out there. All right, the next website that I like to search on is the Costco Travel website. They have some really great deals on cruises, some of the lowest prices I've found compared to all the other sites, and they'll include some more savings on that cruise, like either onboard credit and a Costco shop card. So you're really saving extra money in all those places. They also have a really great search engine, so you can narrow down your cruise by destination, by departure, by cruise length and duration. And again, you can also filter down by cabin type. I've booked 3 of my last cruises with Costco, and I got some really great extras by booking their Kirkland signature cruise offers. Like I got a $250 Costco shop card. I also got free soda packages, and I got some onboard credit. So I really did save quite a lot of money by booking through Costco. The last website I recommend for saving money is vacations2go.com. Now, if you are booking last minute, Vacations to Go offers like a 90-day ticker. These are last minute markdowns on certain cruises. It will give you cruises by destination and dates. For example, if you're looking for cruises in the Caribbean, here on November 20th, sailing out of Miami, they got Virgin's Brilliant Lady for 5 nights, and it's 88% off. And Vacations to Go does offer some extra discounts sometimes, or some extra included benefits like onboard credit. All right, the next way to save money is to maybe book your next sailing on special days like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or Boxing Day. The cruise websites usually offer some really great deals on those days, but make sure that you go onto the website really early and you keep looking. And if you see a deal that you really think is great, just book it as soon as possible because those deals sell out extremely quickly. Now, another thing you could look at on those special dates is if you want to book any kind of extras like the drink packages, the internet packages, or sit down restaurants. Those prices usually drop on those days. I recommend booking those things in advance. And then if you see the price drop on like Black Friday, let's say, you can definitely rebook it to get that deal. So for example, last time when I went on Royal Caribbean, their packages all dropped to 35% off. So I just rebooked all the packages that I had booked previously by calling Royal Caribbean, and I was able to grab their deluxe dining packages and their internet package for a lot less money. The next way to save money is actually not to grab the drink package at all. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to miss out on the drink package, and if you're somebody who drinks a lot of alcohol every single day, and you're planning on drinking 5 or more drinks per day, then definitely grab the drink package. But if you're somebody who takes 1 or 2 drinks per day, the drink packages are actually not worth your money. And I also save money if I'm doing an excursion. Often I won't be drinking that day because I'm going to be off the ship. So I do save a lot of money by not grabbing the drink package. Now, if you do want to buy the drink package or the internet package, definitely do that in advance. You don't want to do that once you get onto the ship because those prices are going to increase when you're on the ship. So I suggest to book them as soon as possible. They are 100% refundable. So if you see a better deal come along later, you can cancel those and rebook them. It will save you a lot of money. Another really great way to save money is to actually carry on your own alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages. Certain cruise lines do allow you to bring either a bottle of wine or a bottle of champagne per passenger. I personally like to bring on my own bottle of wine, and you can also bring that bottle of wine to the restaurant with you or the main dining room. Just make sure that you bring your own bottle opener because most cruise lines will charge you to open your bottle. If you're a big soda drinker, certain cruise lines do allow you to bring your own cans of soda. So you can bring on like a 12-pack of soda and really save a lot of money instead of grabbing the soda package on that cruise line. Now, a lot of people like to buy water bottles while they're on their cruise ship, but I don't see the point in doing that. Often I'll just bring my own container, and there's drink stations pretty much everywhere around the cruise ship and at every restaurant. So I just refill my own bottle, and that way I can stay hydrated. Especially when I go on excursions, I like to bring my own reusable travel bottle, and I'll fill this with water before my excursion. That way I don't have to buy extra water bottles when I'm out in port. And that is a great way to save money. All right, so another way to save money is instead of grabbing the internet package through the cruise line, last time I took my cruise, I used something called GigSky. It's basically a virtual SIM card that you can use on the cruise ship. They have cruise packages. You choose the amount of gigs that you want during your cruise. So depending on how much you're going to be using your internet, I just wanted access to my phone and send emails with my phone. So I basically took the 3 gigabyte for 13 days, and that gave me access to the internet for the 7-day trip. And what's cool is that you can use this plan not only on the cruise ship, but also while you're in port. So if you don't have a international phone plan, you can use the data on your phone while you're in port in that foreign country. Another way that I save money is to make sure that I bring everything I need on the cruise ship. So for example, sunscreen, any kind of medication that I might need during my trip in case I fall ill, because all those things are so expensive on the cruise ships. When I'm packing for a cruise, I use packing lists to really make sure that I don't forget anything. Now let's talk about excursions. Excursions really can add up when you're booking your cruise. So if you really want to save money, instead of booking with the cruise line, Another suggestion is to book with a third party. So I've used several third party vendors. One that I can recommend is Shore Excursion Group. What I like about them is they guarantee return to the ship and they have 24/7 support, which is really great. And they are much cheaper than booking through the cruise line. Another option is to book directly with the vendor that's offering the shore excursion. So, for example, the last time I went to Costa Maya, I used a vendor called Shack Ek and I found them on TripAdvisor. They had a 5-star rating. And what's cool about them is they also guarantee to get you back onto the ship on time. And I think I paid pretty much half the price it would have cost me if I would have booked it through the cruise ship. Now, another way to save money, and this is something I do pretty much on every one of my cruises, I like to stay on the cruise ship on certain port days. I like to use those port days when everybody's getting off the ship to really take advantage and explore the ships, go to the pool, do those ship activities that are usually full to the brim on sea days, and take advantage of the cruise as much as possible. Another way to save money is to select a cabin that's less expensive. You can definitely look at an interior cabin instead of a window or a balcony cabin. If you're not going to be in the cabin a lot of the time, this is going to save you a lot of money. If you're somebody who likes to sleep in, those interior cabins are a lot darker, so you're not going to have light coming into your room and waking you up early. So the money that you're going to save, you can use that money to spend on other things like excursions or drinks or a specialty restaurant. Okay, another way to save money is to really look at the different cruise lines, because different cruise lines offer different free activities and included benefits. So for example, if you are traveling with kids or families, definitely look at cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, where they have tons of free activities included in the cruise ship. They have skating rinks and surf riders and water slides and rock climbing that you don't have to pay extra for. Certain cruise lines like NCL do have a lot of activities on their cruise lines, but they're an upcharge. So for example, if you want to do the race car tracks, that's an upcharge. So there are certain cruise lines that offer more activities included with their price. So definitely look at that to save money, especially if you're traveling as a family. So now that I went over the tips on how to really save money, these are things you shouldn't do to save money. So arriving the same day that your cruise leaves, a lot of people want to save that one night hotel room by arriving the day that their cruise ship leaves. Unfortunately, I've heard too many stories of their flights being delayed or them not arriving on port on time and missing their cruise. So don't do that. You will save money in the end by not missing your cruise ship. Another thing that you should spend money on is actually getting medical travel insurance. This is super important to do. I can't tell you how many times I've heard horror stories of people getting sick during their cruise and paying thousands of dollars in medical fees because they had to go see the doctor on the cruise ship, or they had to visit a hospital in a foreign country and they did not have medical insurance. So I definitely recommend travel insurance and making sure that it covers any kind of emergency during your cruise. Another thing that I don't recommend is to grab a guaranteed stateroom. I know a lot of people grab guaranteed staterooms to save some money on either a balcony room or a suite, but you can't choose the location of your stateroom by doing this. Those are usually the rooms that are last to sell, and sometimes those rooms are next to noisy areas, like right underneath the pool deck or right above a discotheque where you're going to have booming noise, or you're going to get a room completely in the aft of the ship or in the bow of the ship where you're going to feel more motion. So especially if you have motion sickness, you don't want those kinds of rooms. So I just prefer grabbing a stateroom that I get to choose, and that way I know exactly what kind of room I'm going to get, and I can also choose the location on the ship. All right, guys, so that's pretty much all the ways you can save money on your next cruise. I hope you liked this video. If there's any other recommendations that you can suggest to my viewers, please leave them in the comments down below. And I'd really appreciate if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy travels. Bye.